thank everyone for coming and being part of this extremely happy news for us. And it's been a journey for the last 3 to 4 years with these two boys. And we wanted to celebrate and to thank Allah by feeding people iftar this auspicious occasion. But this will start with some recitation of Quran from my son Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجن من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Alhamdulillah. Thought this surah would be appropriate for because which of the favors of your Lord can we deny? Really, there isn't. In the memorization of the Quran and in this journey that we've had for the last several years, we've had so many blessings to be thankful for. Because of these boys, I remember I've been much more regular in going to the masjid because our normal routine is every morning we wake up for Fajr, we take them for Fajr, then they would read for 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'd take a break, we'd go to the donut store, we'd have breakfast together, to give them a little break, we'd take them back, then they would keep memorizing all the way till 8 o'clock when their school starts. because of the blessings of making sure that they could get their memorization done every day, it really kind of forced us and pushed us to use the early morning because we found that they could memorize the best. There's so many blessings that this journey has done for us that we could never be thankful enough. Really, this kind of really due to a commitment and work from the entire family, and I really would be remiss to not acknowledge my parents and my in-laws and everything that occurred, because in this we had to balance homeschooling, we had to balance the regular extracurricular activities and the Quran, and trying to do all of these with them required a great amount of effort and time from the grandparents. Many times, even during Ibrahim's memorization, I was gone to Kuwait for 3.5 months. And it was all being run by my parents and my in-laws. The only thing I could do was talk to Skype, but they were really running the family, making sure that everything was occurring. So I would like to just, if my father and my father-in-law, please just stand up. Faizul Islam and Nazrul Islam. Probably alhamdulillah. Allah Ta'ala grant them Jannah inshallah and give them peace of the grave inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من بل لجوا في عتو ونفور.
With this, we'd like to move on to our next esteemed lecturer. Will be Brother Imran Ghani. Brother Imran Ghani is, as you know, is an organic scholar. He also went through this journey that the boys went through, in which he memorized the entire Quran. He's also a graduate of Bainam, as well as currently a student at Zaytuna. He's really got to know the boys as he's been teaching them Arabic and trying to get them to understand the Quran and what they're memorizing. So I'd like to introduce Brother Imran Ghani.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. It gives me great pleasure to stand in front of you all on this very, very special day for Ibrahim and Yusuf Islam. Actually, July 3rd, 2003 was the day that I recited the last page of the first juz and also became a hafiz. And I remember one thing that my teacher mentioned that rings very true even to this day. And I want you two to pay attention to this. And that is, my teacher told me, Imran, your journey with the Quran has only begun today. And 13 years later, I can tell you that I'm still at the footsteps of this vast mountain that is the Quran. I wanted to begin by congratulating Ibrahim and Yusuf on this tremendous accomplishment, and also to Dr. Nadeem and Sister Mona, as well as their parents, because it takes an entire family to do something that Ibrahim and Yusuf have done. So while we may not see it, there has been thousands of hours been put into repeating verses of the Quran thousands of times. And there's a tradition from our Prophet ﷺ in which he teaches us that every letter of the Quran that is recited, there is a 10 hasanat recorded. Not for alif, lam, mim, 10 pieces of reward, but for alif, 10 rewards, lam, 10 rewards, and mim, 10 rewards. And just for us to kind of wrap around what that means is the fact that these two young men probably recited pages over and over and over again. And I can tell from personal experience that there are a lot of difficult days, that there are tears shed, that there are moments that you just want to quit, and that you're noticing that how much you've memorized is only staying this thick, and it's not getting thicker, and there's so much left still. There is a lot to rise above, and it really does take a family and incredible himmah, incredible stamina from people who take on this endeavor. So there's two things that I wanted to share. One from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and one actually from the point of grammar. So Ibrahim Yusuf, when somebody finds out that you're a hafiz, what's like the first question that you receive? How old are you? And how long did it take?
They're not hearing the lady's side. They can't hear at all.
How long did it take us the first? Okay, that's actually that was actually the answer that I was going for. That is the question, that when somebody finds out that somebody is a hafiz of the Quran, then the first question they get is, how long did it take? Now on average, you get 2 years, 3 years, 6 years. It's almost as if that the faster a person memorizes the Quran, the better the hafiz is. So if you imagine somebody saying that it took me 2 months to memorize the Quran, we're like, wow, that's amazing, you're a genius. And if somebody says, like, it took me 60 years to memorize the Quran, you're like, whoa, you must be really slow, like, you got problems. So there's a hadith, there's a tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, and a lesson, a sort of fictional lesson that my teacher gave me based off of this hadith that I wanted everybody to sort of internalize, because each and every one of us has the potential to be a hafiz of the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Quran hujjatun laka aw alayka, that the Quran, meaning on the day of judgment, the Quran will be a proof for you, a sort of lawyer for you, or against you. And so my teacher, he told me to imagine two Hufaz. One that memorized the Quran in 1 year, and one that memorized the Quran in 60 years. And these two Hufaz, the first one who memorized the Quran in 1 year, he stands in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah Azza wa Jal asks him, what did you do in your life? And this man says that in 1 year's time, I exerted myself to an extent that I completed the memorization of your book. What did you do in your life? And this man will have the honor, this man or woman will have the honor, will have the opportunity to answer Allah and say, I spent my life memorizing the book of Quran. And so this sort of lesson is corroborated by another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, who's taught us that the most beloved of deeds of Allah are those that are done regularly, even in small increments. The second thing is that I wanted to share is a point from Arabic grammar. The word hafiz, the root meaning means to preserve, but in grammar it is an ism fa'il, not a verb. It is a verbal noun, not something that's a past tense verb or a present tense verb. So a hafiz is a doer of that action, meaning they aren't people that have memorized the Quran. They are in the act of memorizing. They are memorizers. They are preservers of the Quran. And when we hear in the Quran, in the tradition that the Prophet, that Allah Azza wa Jal has taken it upon Himself to preserve this Quran, it's a huge point of honor that Allah Azza wa Jal has selected you, Ibrahim and Yusuf, to be amongst those people who preserve His final book. So whenever I see two young people become hafiz, I feel incredibly elated and happy, but I also feel a little scared, because we all know in Houston, this is a place where hafiz are made, right? It's like a hafiz factory. But not every hafiz preserves the Quran, is a preserver of the Quran, because the sad situation is that they didn't have a relationship with the Quran that was built upon its meaning, on hidayah. And so I really appreciate that now you guys are getting into Arabic grammar and you're starting to learn the meaning of the Quran. So, a few bits of advice that my teachers told me. One is, the first is that your journey with the Quran, as long as it has seemed so far, is still just in the beginning, nascent stages, and you have much longer to go, inshallah, and we all make dua that you have continued support from your family to continue this journey, this noble journey. Second is to learn Arabic. One of the crises of our Muslim community is that we've lost the language of the Quran to be able to experience the Quran the way that the original Muslims experienced it. So I'm really appreciative of your family starting that journey for you all. And then third is to have a regular recitation every single day. And I know this is going to blow your minds, but my teachers have told me, Imran, every single day you have to read 5 ajza with looking. You can look at it. But build a relationship with the Quran to where you're reciting an entire Quran at least once a week. And as for Faz, you'll be able to finish that within 2 hours. You can do that while driving. You can do that while But just start off with maybe 1 juz a day, 2 juz a day, but try to get to 5 juz a day, because they say that if the hafiz who recites 5 juz a day will never forget the Quran. Like it's very difficult to do. So with that being said, Jazakumullah khairan, thank you very much.
With this, I would like to call Imam Zahid, who is the Imam and their teacher, and their mentor, who has been with these boys for the last 3 years. And it's really because of his mentorship and his passion that he shows to his boys that they always wanted to go back. You know, one of the things I really wanted for my boys is a few things. The first one is that I never wanted them to not like the Quran. So I wanted to make sure that we went at a pace and we had an environment such that they never resented this journey that they spent for the last few years. So in Cuba, Islamic Institute also mirrored that same vision. They never treated the boys in a way that they would not want to come back to school. And in fact, anytime they were going slow or going concentrating, the best way for me to get them to concentrate more is that I'm going to take you out of high school if you guys don't start concentrating. And that alone, I used that maybe 2 or 3 times with Ibrahim, and that was, to him, that was like his world was going to end, and he started studying in the morning, at night, non-stop, so that I wouldn't take him out of high school. Because I said, look, I can't do this, you know, you got to go to high school. We got to finish this up. And really, that would really motivate him to keep studying. So, I would like to ask Imam Zahid to give us some words of wisdom and about the miracle of the Quran.
Okay. Brother Rahman, Hafiz Hassan. Where's Hafiz Hassan? Hafiz Hassan, it's your time, mashallah, to come here. One big takbir for both of them, mashallah. I can't even hear you because you're hungry. Jazakallah. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. نصلي ونسلم على أفضل الأنبياء محمد بن عبد الله الذي بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الأمة. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters, I would love to avail this opportunity to congratulate the family, his father, his grandfather, from both sides. MashaAllah, everybody is here and everybody is enjoying. And why not? People celebrate birthdays. People celebrate different things. You know, graduations from high school, graduation from college. What a person can have the best achievement, as the best achievement in his life. You know, everybody does high school. Everybody does go to school and finish college, and 4 years after that he gets, certificate or a degree from his university. But how many of them memorize Quran? It's only a few. That is completely, chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one. The second thing is, it is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot even come closer to commit a good deed, to do a good deed, until the tawfiq is given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as a matter of fact, these two young children, mashallah, they are the best among Quba also, among all the students. Every one of them have different, qualities, characteristics. You look at Ibrahim, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him person with understanding of the Quran, it's very easy for him. You know, some things are built in every one of us. So fiqh and understanding of Quran is built in some people, and some other people cannot understand. Just like a person whose mind works with the technical things, and other person he cannot even go closer to it. So that's how people are. But this young one, Yusuf, he is given the title of Grand Mufti in Quran. You know why he is given Grand title, Mufti of Grand title, Grand Mufti, title of Grand Mufti? You know? Well, because he gives fatwa, mashallah. And to give fatwa, you need to know a lot. So that means that level of his knowledge of Islam is very high, mashallah. May Allah increase it more. I'm not just joking. If you compare them with other kids, that's amazing. And it's a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What I was amazed with, the way Brother Nadeem has made them work on this project, especially this playground project. You always listen to Quran, you listen to the Hadith, and this is a famous ayah, very famous ayah, Al-Jazaa al-Ihsan illa al-Ihsan. You know, I have time to end, or we have something before me? That's it? Okay. Al-Jazaa al-Ihsani illa al-Ihsan. Every mufassir has translated it in a different way. You know. And words sometimes are not sufficient enough to make people understand what it meant. So that's why you see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to apply these tafsir, use the tafsir, apply the tafsir of different ayat into his life. So you see, the first thing we do when we do tafsir is tafsir bil Quran, the second is tafsir bil Hadith al-Sharif. What the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did in his life, it was all in accordance with the teachings of the Quran. So he was walking Quran. So what he is teaching his children in this is that ihsan should be done to everyone who have done ihsan to you. Although there are, some situations in which it goes the opposite. And it's funny, but it is true. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said once, "Ittaqi sharra man ahsanta ilayhi." Whoever knows Arabic, he understands what I'm talking about. If you are not doing, you have no relationship with anybody, you have not done anything for him, good or bad, you don't expect from him anything bad. But if you do good to somebody, you do ihsan to somebody, you do favor to somebody, you take care of some needs of somebody, in return, most of the time what you are going to get is harm. Because we have forgotten this order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hal jazaa al-ihsani illa al-ihsan. What can be the reward of ihsan? Nothing but ihsan. Having said that, my dear brothers and sisters, mabruk to everyone of his family, both of them's family, and mashallah, it's a large family. I would definitely love to share with you some of the ahadith, just for the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said about those who memorize Quran in order to encourage others and motivate other people. Hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: من قرأ القرآن فاستظهره فأحل حلاله وحرم حرامه أدخله الله به الجنة وشفعه في 10 من أهل بيته كلهم قد وجبت لهم النار. Imam Tirmidhi narrates a hadith from Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, a person who reads Quran and he memorizes it and then he applies it, implements whatever it is mentioned in the Quran, stays away from the things which are mentioned in Quran as haram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely enter him Jannah. Will definitely enter him Jannah. أدخله الله به Jannah. That's the first thing. The second thing, he said, وَشَفَّعَهُ فِي عَشَرَةٍ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ. He will accept his intercession, his shafa'ah, about 10 people of his family. About 10 people of his family, every one of them has become, Jahannam has become wajib, meaning that he is going to be thrown in Jahannam. If it is you, it can be. So the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning the reward of these individuals who memorize Quran. أَدْخَلَهُ اللَّهُ بِالْجَنَّةِ. They are all working hard to get Jannah. And it is true. The Prophet ﷺ has said it. أَلَا إِنَّ سَلْعَةُ اللَّهِ غَالِيَةٌ. أَلَا إِنَّ سَلْعَةُ اللَّهِ غَالِيَةٌ. أَلَا وَهِيَ الْجَنَّةُ. أَلَا وَهِيَ الْجَنَّةُ. Jannah is not easy. Jannah is not, you are not going to get it without any effort. You have to put an effort and then you will be given tawfiq. First, tawfiq comes when you show your intention. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that he will be entering Jannah and then he will be given authorization to take 10 those people that Jahannam has become wajib on them, that they are going to be thrown in Jahannam, but because of his intercession, Allah will enter these 10 people into Jannah. And there are some people who will be given this privilege. Shafa'ah of the Prophet ﷺ is very famous. It is reported that the Prophet ﷺ said he will be given tawfiq. He will be given chance to do shafa'ah of the judgment, and there will be 6 types of shafa'ah. But then after that, what will happen, that people who are given privilege, among them the Siddiqeen, Shuhada, Awliya, and one of the categories is Hufaz. And a Hafiz will be given chance to enter 10 people into Jannah. And that will be treatment to the Hafiz from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a reward and ikram for these people on the day of judgment. But before even that, there is another beautiful hadith. I was saying to Brother Nadeem last week that you got 2 crowns now, not 1 crown, mashallah, one side, one on that side. That would be a great thing. The Prophet ﷺ said, hadith is reported by Imam Tirmidhi and narrated by Burayda radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ said, Man qara'a al-Qur'an wa ta'allama wa 'amila bihi ulbisa walidahu yawm al-qiyamati tajan min nurin dawquhu mithla dawqi ash-shams. The Prophet ﷺ said, the one who memorizes Quran and teaches it and practices upon it, his parents, both, his parents, both of them will be wearing crown on the day of judgment. The light of that crown is going to be more than the light of the sun. More than the light of the sun. وَيُقْسَى وَالِدَاهُ كُلَّ and his parents will be given very, very, very expensive clothes to wear. You cannot even imagine, the Prophet ﷺ is saying, you cannot even think how beautiful they will look. لا تقوم لهم الدنيا. If you pay the whole dunya as a price, that will not be given to you also the price. It is a narration that on the day of judgment, when all the people will be gathered and everybody will be buried, and ayat of Quran talk about يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. That everybody will be worried about himself that day. That will be the day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do ikram to the parents of Hufaz. Will do ikram to the parents of Hufaz. If that is the case with parents of Hufaz, what will be the treatment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Hufaz actually themselves, So, hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says that yuksa walidahu kulladain, they will be given very expensive clothes. Nobody can even think about them. And then they will be astonished. They will say, what have we done? Why are we treated like this? Why we are given so much ikram? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does ikram, you cannot imagine, where a person, how high he can go. They will say, bima kusina hadha. We are enjoying it, we love it, but we don't know why are we treated like this. Bima kusina hadha. So the reply to them will be, فَيُقَالْ بِأَخْذِ وَلَدِكُمَا الْقُرْآنِ, because your son had memorized Quran in dunya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing ikram to you today, that He is giving this crown on your head and giving you these clothes which will make your personality distinguished from all other people. Takbir. So that is one thing. Okay. He is given privilege to take 10 people. He is given privilege to enter Jannah. 10 people who are going to Jahannam, he will take them to Jannah. His parents will be given Taj, the crown. They will be wearing expensive clothes. What will be done to him? What will be the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the Hafiz? The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says in a hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, yuji sahibul Qur'ani yawm al-qiyamah. Sahibul Quran. Who are Sahibul Quran, my dear brothers and sisters? Sahibul Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, Ahlul Qur'ani hum khassatullah. They are the special people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Special people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khassatullah. Yuji sahibul Qur'ani yawm al-qiyamah. Sahib al-Quran will be brought on the day of judgment. فَيَقُولُ الْقُرْآنِ, and the Quran will be brought. And the Quran will be brought, and Quran will speak that day. Quran will speak. That's why you see the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma ja'alhu shafi'an wa mushaffa'an. Because Quran itself will intercede for those who used to recite Quran in this dunya. So the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, فَيَقُولُ الْقُرْآنِ, when a person who was given privilege of being Sahib al-Quran, a person of Quran or people of Quran, he will be brought. Then the Quran will come forward and say, Ya Rabb, oh my Lord, Hunda, give him clothes he deserves. Give him the garments he deserves. فَيُلْبَسْ حُلَّةُ كَرَامَةٍ. He will be given garments of karama. Karama of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that will not be sufficient for the Quran. Quran will not be satisfied with it. Will say, Ya Rabb, zid. I am still not satisfied with it. Can you increase more? Can you make it more better? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do more ikram towards that person who is called Sahib al-Quran. Then the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says, فَيُلْبَسْ تَاجَ الْكَرَامَةِ. Then he will be given crown of karama also. Crown of generosity, crown of karama. ثُمَّ يَقُولُ, Quran will say, Oh Allah, still not enough. he is entering Jannah and he is given clothes and the crown is given to him, but that is still not sufficient enough for the Quran. Quran will say, Ya Rabb, ibda'. Now I expect from you to be happy with him. Oh Allah, be happy with this Sahib al-Quran. Oh Allah, be happy with him now. Ya Rabbi, ibda'. Imagine when the Prophet ﷺ used to make dua for those whom he used to be happy with, he used to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Oh Allah, inni raditu an Uthman. I'm giving the example of Uthman. At so many occasions the Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Allah, ana raditu an Uthman, farda'an. I am happy with Uthman today. Be happy with him. And he said to Uthman at different occasions, Uthman, no matter what you do after today, it will not be harmful to your nama a'mal, to your good deeds. Or, you will enter Jannah guaranteed. So people used to, see Uthman radiallahu ta'ala an. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was pleased with him. If that is the case with the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, if the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam is happy with someone, Allah will be happy with him. And if Allah is happy with someone, He will never ever get upset with him after that. That is guaranteed. Once Allah is happy with you, you will be given all the honor and you will be given whatever can please you. So Quran will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbi, irda'. Be happy with him now. فَيَرْضَ عَنْ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, yes, I am happy with servant of mine. May Allah make all of us among those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with. Say Ameen. And then he will be said, فَيُقَالُ لَهَا اقْرَأْ وَارْقَى. اقْرَأْ وَارْقَى. Read and step forward. Step ahead, step, higher. And there will be stairs. اقرأ وارقى ويزداد بكل آية حسنة بكل آية درجة. He will be starting recitation of the Quran from Surah Al-Fatiha, then Surah Al-Baqarah, and then he will keep on going, reciting different surahs until he reaches Surah Al-Nas. When he will reach the scene of Surah Al-Nas, the last scene, it will be said to him, this is your Jannah. This is the Jannah which was promised for you, because we treat all those who take care of our book just like this. So my dear brothers and sisters, if you have not done it, it's not late yet. If you can get crown for your parents, you can get crown for yourself by making your children for pass. Alamgir, King Alamgir used to be king of Mughals in India. His son memorized Quran. And you know the history, whoever knows it. His son memorized Quran. And his father, he put him in jail. You know that. He took over from his father, Shah Jahan. You know that, right? That's the history. But he put him in jail. He said he has to stay here. He was treated, the best, but he had to stay in the jail, prison. So his son, Alamgir's son memorized Quran, and he came to inform his father, the grandfather of Hafiz. He said, Dad, your grandson has memorized Quran. He said, what is that going to do any good to me? Okay, just one Okay, just let me finish this. So, Shah Jahan said, that's not going to do any good to me. If I had a son who memorized Quran, then I would be given crown of Karam on the day of judgment. But you are getting crown of Karam. Why are you coming and telling me? He said, oh, okay. So it is reported that Alamgir started memorizing the Quran, and he did the Tarawih with his father in the prison, and he memorized the whole Quran. That's how he took it seriously. With this, inshallah, I again congratulate the whole family and let's make dua. Allahumma ighfir lana warhamna wa'afina wa'fu 'anna wa akrim nuzulana wa wasi' mudkhalana wa ahdina subul salam wa waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda wa ighfir li walidina wa li jami'il mu'minina wal mu'minati wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat ya 'aziz ya ghaffar ya rabbal alamin. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين.